lovelies. How are you all? Hopefully, everyone is doing well. I am putting this video together to upload on Sunday. So, hope this video is being received by everyone in good health and good mind and all that. Earlier this week, I got some really unfortunate news of a really I say close and good cousin of mine who was sadly and tragically killed, and it was just like a rocker in my whole being, simply because it just seemed so surreal, and I just felt kind of stuck, and not stuck emotionally or stuck spiritually, but stuck physically. I just wanted to sit for a little bit, and that's completely fine to do because you have to listen to your body. And so I did that, and it seems as though things are falling into place to be able to go there and be with family and such. But man, it really, really hit the heart, and it was kind of hard to say then what can make me feel better. And truly, journaling did. It was a real lifesaver. I didn't run to it right away, but it was something that I always do in the evening time. So that evening I definitely did, and my journaling wasn't with the Beautifully Broken. It was just my own personal journal. Like I had said a couple of videos ago, journaling is simply just to have different things for different people. And for me at that time where I was, it was more of a healing and feeling, being able to let my emotions out, Like, listen, it was really hard to hear that news, but I have to move forward, and what can I do to do that? And journaling was my answer. So I just journaled fun times, different things, and it was funny. I was writing down, oh my gosh, I have to get all these pictures of us together. Like, I want to have all this together. And then my mom sent me some pictures that morning. I was able to look on Facebook and get some pictures. So all those things in my journaling, writing down what I was feeling at that time, and all of that helped me. So I say all that to say this is the journey to journaling, and just know that it was more than what we're doing right now. It was definitely a healing thing. So if you ever think of me in the next couple of weeks, say a silent prayer that, myself and my family are doing well. Because like I said, it was super tragic, very unexpected. And if you know me personally, you know that this has not even been 7 weeks since I lost another cousin of mine. So it's been emotion filled couple of 2 months, to be honest. So journaling was when I was able to let those things out, and I hope that for someone else it helps you. So with all that said, I hope you guys were able to read chapter 1 of your book. I have the book right here, and the book, chapter 1, was called Beautifully Broken is Where God Does His Best Work. And so chapter 1 was called A Young Girl and Shattered Dreams, My Beginning. So no, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to go through different, and I like to call them nuggets. A lot of people call them different things. I like to call it nuggets. Little pieces that are like, oh, you must remember this, or might not be something to you right now, but let me explain it because it's definitely something. So those are the pieces that I'm going to go through from chapter 1. I might actually hit up chapter 2 and try to speed the process along and do chapter 1 and chapter 2, and then tell you what your next challenge is, okay? So here we go. So in chapter 1, it was really just her, again, Kim Jones Pothier, talking about her life. And so if you read through it, she talks about her background and being from a religious home, and being in that point of insecurity and all that. And one of the things that I thought was really, really nugget filled was a statement. She said, I carried the resentment for people and religion into all of my relationships. And I thought, wow, It's a big deal because we can sometimes self-sabotage the relationships we have. We realize either you're attracting the wrong person, or you're attracting the same person, or you're attracting different people and you're sabotaging your relationships. Why? Because there is something going on inside and we're not tapping into those. So I thought that was a big nugget. And then moving forward, I thought it was just like a really good piece. And so one statement, and I know that every video I try to have one little piece of something there, is beautifully broken is where God does his best work. And I think that's really like, wow, that is true, because you don't know that the Lord can be a fixer if he doesn't have anything to fix. And if you were all put together just right, there would be no way for him to get the glory in your life and for you to have any reason to recognize him. So that is huge, right? Another thing, it says the message of grace is a common theme in this chapter. Even in the midst of confusion, Grace met her family. And so I thought that was pretty good. Why run from grace? And that was something that she noted. She ran from grace. She ran from it. Like, I am not sure what is going on, but I'm not broken. I'm going to keep on going what I want to do. And then she ends up realizing, as she calls it, a jumble mess. Like, her life just seemed to be broken. And I love that she recognized it. Not downplaying the chapters at all, but I'm going to go into chapter 2 a little bit, and I'm just going to give you some of those nuggets and put it all together for your next journal entry. The next one, the next chapter is don't live out your labels. And the piece of quote is, the rejection I had felt for so long wasn't someone necessarily wanting me out of their lives, but someone God needed out of my future. Hello. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the fact that, oh, you're striving or missing this person or missing this job or missing this thing or whatever the case. At the end of the day, it might not be for your present. So be happy that it won't be in your future, because it's not there. And honestly, if the people that are in your life leave, that means they were not part of your future. And as much as it hurts, as much as it's crazy, it is okay. Move on. And it doesn't mean that leave because they've died. It's just leave because some relationships grow old. And that's fine, because you grow up. And if you recognize that, you can move forward. And sadly, like I just mentioned, I had a loss of a cousin. By no means in my life did I ever think that I'd be not able to share my children with him and with my other cousin that passed too. Like, nowhere in my life, if I thought about it, would I have thought there would be a time where I would not share my children growing up, their first this, that, all those different things, my marriage, all those things. Never in my life would I have thought that would have been the case. But it is written that they will not be in my future. And I mean, I don't care what anyone says, but that is huge. And if you were to have known that before, you would have never believed it. So trust that God is doing something in your life. And if it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. Whatever it is. And that's huge. The next chapter, like I read, it says don't live out your labels. And she goes on to talk about labels, for example, for her having a learning disability. But labels could be anything. Labels could be, you are like the angry black woman. Or labels can be, oh, she's that Spanish chick, and Spanish people have drama. Or she is, or he, whomever's watching, but oh, she's the one that always this and this. Or, oh, that's the one that, was abused before, or whatever the case is. All those things are labels. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what someone calls you. It matters what you answer to. So it does not matter. And at the end of the day, trust and believe, okay? If it's not your name, you don't need to answer. And that was huge. And that was huge for her. So I thought that was worth noting. A little nugget. one thing that is written, it says labels take away our value and limit our potential. And that is so big because we fall victim to our things. I'm not saying I do it all the time or I don't do it. I'm just saying that that is definitely something that people do all of the time. I have friends that do it. I know people that do it, fall into all the things that were and should be their truth. But we remember from the last video, those are just your stories. So move on because it is okay. It is just a story and you can keep it moving. It's just a chapter in your life. There is more chapters to come. Don't make that the end. Another nugget, which is in this same chapter, it says, when they look in the mirror, all they see is the vulnerable little girl or quiet boy who couldn't tell anyone what happened. And so in this portion, she just goes on to talk about what you see in the mirror, you know? And hey, it's called Woman in the Mirror for a reason. What is your reflection? Is your reflection everything that people have told you? This is why we need to listen and be around people that speak up to us. Because if you're not going to speak life into me or edify me of any piece of any way, then you got to go. Hello. Because I don't have no time for you to talk bad about me or make me feel less than. When I look in the mirror, sometimes I feel that way. So why do I need you telling me that? You don't. Deuces. See ya. You're not helping me. You're not adding. Then let me subtract. Hello. Another piece was some people don't cope well because they don't have hope. And that was one of the pieces that is huge, because if you don't have hope, then you kind of feel like you don't have anything. And that could be for anyone. It can even be for that Christian mom that's watching this blog or vlog or whatever you want to call it. You might feel like that. And this is why journaling is so important. It's important because it helps you on a daily basis look at yourself. You don't just look at yourself in the mirror on Sundays and say, I look good for the week. No, because you go to sleep, you wake up, all these different things happen in the course of the day that you need to look at yourself again. You need to look at yourself on Monday, and you need to look at yourself on Tuesday, because after that rough sleep you had on Monday, you're looking tore up on Tuesday. All those things are necessary, okay? We look in the mirror every single day, then we need to journal every single day. Why? Because we need to have that self-reflection piece every single day. You must do it. Doesn't mean you have to write a saga, a long story, grab out the scroll and start writing. No, it doesn't mean none of that. It just means to have a self-reflection moment. Look at yourself truly in the mirror. Are you living up to those pieces that are labels people have called you or told you about yourself? That is huge. I'm almost done because I want to keep them all under 15 minutes so I can tell you your next journal challenge. As a whole, the whole chapter, I really hope that you read it. It's chapter 2, Don't Live Out Your Labels. And one thing that I noted that I want to read, because I wrote it down, was this chapter speaks of her rebellion to her parents, and it reflects on, and she reflects on her as like the 16-year-old. And so my journal challenge is certainly your choice, but it's just one of those segues. So reading these 2 chapters, we know that she was broken, and we know all about her rebellion, and that she didn't want to live those labels. So instead of reflecting about it, she went ahead and just lived out everything else to be so counter. And later on we'll read what that brought, you know. I read someone said, and I think it was actually Bishop T.D. Jakes that said, yes, you make bad decisions, but all those bad decisions can go away with one good decision. Once you decide this is not right, let me move on to something that's right. Once you decide, let me look at myself in the mirror and write down all those pieces that I need to reflect on to become a better me, a better mother, a better sister, a better wife, a better friend, a better daughter, a granddaughter, a teacher, all those things. You cannot be better of anything if you're living the labels, if you're focused on, oh, I'm so broken and wilted and all that stuff. Like, get that out of here. That is not you, okay? So here's my challenge, still under 15 minutes. Our challenge is write down, if you had the opportunity, write down what you would tell yourself if you were that 16-year-old child. So, you at 16 could be like a model child or not. You could have had some, self-esteem issues. You could have had that timing where you still lived with your parents or lived with a friend, or in that mix of whatever is going on in your life, whatever and wherever you were. Write down, what would you tell yourself, what would you tell yourself at 16? So if I'm me, Devin, looking back at me, Devin, at 16 years old, what would I tell that Devin? Would I tell Devin to look in the mirror and don't worry, you don't please every single person, and that is okay. You don't have to live up to the label. Because sometimes, this is another thing. Some people think labels are horrible. No, labels don't have to be the horrible words. No, labels can be the words of, oh, she's always so cute. Oh, she's always so nice. Like that can create some pressure, because if you're always hearing that, then you don't want to be opposite. And so, for example, for myself, I'm saying this like, oh, she's just so nice. Oh, she's so, yeah. And then it just creates such pressure, such anxiety that you don't want to say no, or you don't want to go and do the opposite thing because, oh my gosh, everyone thinks I'm so nice and I'm so this. That is a label. No, if it doesn't come from God, cut it out. Don't worry about it. And then you start feeling freer. Write down what you would tell your 16-year-old self. Huge, huge, huge challenge. But I challenge you to do it. Why? Because some of you might have 16-year-olds. Some of you might have teenage girls that will be 16. Write it down. What would you tell yourself at 16? Now being who you are. Now knowing what you know. What would you tell yourself? Huge, huge, huge. Challenge number 5. I think this is video 5. But yeah. What would you tell your younger self? I want you to use that in your journal time. What would you tell your younger self? What are some labels that were put on this 16-year-old? What are some labels that were put on this 16-year-old that didn't know what was to come, and now you're here? So what would you say? If you experience loss at 16, if you experience, some people might be watching this and might have had a baby at 16. Like, life is different for everyone. What would you have told that 16-year-old self? What are some labels in there? All these are ideas you can put in there. What are some things that you would say if you could just hold on to? What advice would you give? All of that. What would you tell yourself at 16? And somebody might say, oh girl, I am way over 16. I am like sweetly 60. Doesn't matter. What would you tell your younger self? What would you tell yourself if you had the opportunity to tell that younger person so that they wouldn't have to go through that? Write those things down, because those things will become the freeing things that you need. Because sometimes that 16-year-old girl that you might be talking to still is going through those same things. And this is your opportunity. Do it. Listen, tomorrow is not promised. Write those bad boys down. If it's something that you're still facing now, write it down and know, I don't have to live with those labels, or I know I'm broken and God is going to fix me in this area. Doesn't matter. You might think your life is all put together. You really don't want for anything. Like, no, it's not. I promise you it's not. There is something in there. Whatever it is, write it down. So again, just to reiterate, this was chapter 1 and 2. We will, on the next video, do 3 and 4, or however it moves along. But read those 2 chapters, write the journal piece, and comment down below. Down below. Also comment that you like my new blue glasses that have anchors on them. Why not? But no, really, comment things down below. I've been getting a lot of emails from people, which are great feedback. I love it. But just comment down below, because those pieces definitely make a big deal for me, because it lets me know what you want to hear, or if you're even interested and all that. So we are under 20 minutes, which was not my goal, a little bit over, but 20 is my cap. Like, some of us do not have 20 minutes to just sit down and listen. So trust and believe, I got you. I know, under 20 minutes, I got you. The next video will be uploaded on Wednesday. I cannot promise that it's going to be a live stream because I will be traveling for a funeral, but it will be uploaded because I'm going to go ahead and try to do that earlier and then just push upload for you to watch it. Keep my family in prayer, and I'll keep you guys in prayer as you move on in your journal entries. Grace and peace.